What's up, fifth graders? Hopefully you guys are having a great day here this beautiful Tuesday. Hey, we're on lesson 102 and we're on page 760. So go ahead and grab out those math books, grab out your math homework sheets so we can copy this stuff down. Make sure you have out lesson 101 as well, because at the end of the video, I'll throw lesson 101 in there so you can check your answers. Now, on those papers, when you turn in your math homework papers, I'm expecting to see, and so is Mrs. Phillips, to see your work shown in those boxes. That's why there's the boxes, so you can write out your work. Otherwise, we're going to think you're just writing down the answers, and that would be cheating. All right, so make sure you are showing your work, because when we are multiplying out crazy numbers like this stuff right here, you need to be showing some work. Otherwise, you're using the calculator or something else you're not supposed to be using. All right. So today we are on to lesson 102. And in lesson 102, we're going to be working at changing a percentage. So taking a percentage like 75%, turn it into a fraction, or even taking that and turn it into a decimal. And we'll be turning this one into a decimal right here. Now, we are also going to multiply by a fraction. So multiply by a fraction over here, or we're going to multiply by a percentage of a number. So we're going to be doing all kinds of crazy stuff this lesson. This lesson is a little bit difficult, but not quite as hard as yesterday, trying to do that three-dimensional, drawing it as a two-dimensional shape. So a little bit easier, so hopefully we'll be good. All right, so let's check it out. Page 760 up at the top. It says we often use a fraction or a percent to describe part of a group. 1/4 of the students in the class play on a soccer team. Okay, so that'd be 1/4, right? 1/4. Now on Monday, 20% of the students in a class were wearing white socks. Okay, not too bad. Now, one way to find a percent of a number is to change the percent to a fraction. So 50% we know means 50 over 100, and then we could reduce that down to 1/2. Now, 4% means 4 over 100, which I can reduce. I could still divide both those by 4, right? So I could reduce that down to 1/25. Now, another way to find a percent of a number is to change the percent to a decimal. So if I have 65%, so let's see, if I have 65% like this, all I have to do is get rid of my percentage sign, scoot over 2 places, and drop a decimal in there. Not too bad, right? Pretty easy. Now, the only thing that gets a little tricky is when you have single-digit percentages. So this 8% right here, we're just going to do the same thing. You're still going to move it 2 times. Check it out. We cross that guy off. We scoot over once and twice. We put our decimal in, but now we got an open space. We had a whole lesson where we put certain things in that open space. What was it? Let's see. So if you remember what it was? Yup, we got to put zeros in there. So if I have 5%, we put a 0 in there. If we have 6%, we put a 0 in there. Whatever it is, if there's a space right there, we got to put a 0 in it. All right, does that make sense? All right, let's check out example number 1. It says, what number is 75% of 12? So we're going to work this out both ways. So let's take 75%, we're going to turn it into a fraction, right? 75 over 100. Now, I'm going to jump over to Dylan. Dylan, help me out. How am I going to reduce 75% over 100? What's the biggest number that goes into both those? Absolutely, 25. So we reduce both these by 25. That's going to give me 3/4. Now, remember, we can do this right here where we divide 4 into 12. And then what's that going to give us, Dylan? Yup, it's going to give us 3, right? And then what's 3 times 3? Nice, that's 9. Awesome. So 75% of 12 is 9. Now, here's the other way to do it. Let's turn this percentage into a decimal. So like we did here, we get rid of our percentage sign, we scoot over 1, 2 times, drop our decimal in there, and now we just multiply. Jeremiah, help me out on this one. So 2 times 5, yep. And then 2 times 7 is, there you go, plus 1, there you go, 15. Nice, because 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15. Now, we're multiplying in the ones place, so what do I got to add in here? Bingo, space holder. Now we're just multiplying times 1. What's 75 times 1? 75. Awesome. Let's add these all up. Zeros. Yup. 5 plus 5. It's 10. And then we got 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so 900. Would 900 work as our answer? No. Notice, how many decimal spaces did we go over right here? Exactly, we went over 2. So that means I need to add 2 into my answer and drop it in there. All right, sweet. So that gives us the same answer. It gives us 9. Cool, that's not too bad, right? All we had to do is turn it into a fraction, divide the bottom into here, multiply times the top. Now, another way we could do this part of the problem, let me erase this and show you one other way we could do this. We could go 3/4 times the number 12. Now, when we do that, we have to make 12 a fraction by putting a 1 underneath it. And then we just multiply straight across. What's 3 times 12? Let me jump to Jordan. What's 3 times 12? Yup, 36. And then 4 times 1? And then 36 divided by 4 is? Nice. Awesome. So, no matter which way you do it, if you divide first, then multiply times the numerator, totally fine. Or you could turn the 12 into a fraction, multiply straight across, and you're good. Cool, let's check out example number 2. Example number 2 says 60% of the 25 students visited the school library on Friday. How many students visited the school library? So, once again, we're going to do it both ways. So we're going to take that 60%, we're going to turn it into a fraction, which is 60 over 100. Now, help me out, bin B. Bin B, if I'm going to reduce 60 over 100, what number goes into both those? Yeah, it's a big one. There you go. 20, right? 20 goes into 60 how many times? Yup, and then 20 into 100? Absolutely. So we could do it the same way we did it here. So we could, or whoa, I put 100. Woo! Woo, we're way off. That was supposed to be a 5. There we go, that's a little bit better, right? Okay, just like school, messing up with school too, right? All right, so we divided our denominator into our whole number. So how many times does 5 go into 25 then? 5, okay, sweet. And then what's 5 times 3? Exactly, 15. And then we would want to label it students, so I'll put it in there real small. Now we could also do it by turning that 60% into a decimal number. So let's put the 60% over here. We'll put it over here first. Let me get rid of this guy. Okay, so 60%, turn that into a decimal number. Help me out, John. John, help me out in my class. So if I'm starting here, we scoot over 2, right? Drop that decimal in there. Now, when I'm multiplying times 0.60, do I really need to multiply times a 0? Nah, let's get rid of that guy. Let's just multiply times 0.6. Now it's super easy. What's 6 times 5, John? 30. And then 6 times 2 is 12. And then 12 plus 3. There you go. Hold on, 150 students went to the library? I don't think so. There was only 25 students there at all. Like, come on. Now, 1 decimal place over, John, so where do I need to put my decimal point? We go over 1 spot, we drop it right there. So we would write that answer as 15 students. This will leave here. Awesome. Hopefully that's not too bad. We're going to go ahead and do example 3. I'm going to get this cleaned up for us, and so we can see it nice and pretty like. All right, in example number 3, we have an item that costs $15 and there's 6% sales tax. So what we need to do is figure out how much that sales tax is, but then also add that sales tax to the original price. We know that original price was $15, and then we will take care of it from there. We got to figure out what that total price is going to be. So first off, what do we need to do with that 6%? Are we going to leave it written like that, or do we need to turn it into a decimal number? Absolutely, we need to turn it into a decimal. So we're going to start here. We're going to come over 2 spots. We're going to put a decimal there, put a 0 in that open space. Now we can multiply times that original $15 that we had. So let's check it out. So 6 times 5, let's see, who hasn't helped me yet? Let's jump over to Mariah. Mariah, help me out here. 6 times 5 is, 30. There's our 3. 6 times 1 is 6. Times 3 would be 9. Awesome. Now, if I multiply times 0, they're all going to be 0. So let's just count our decimal spaces. 1, 2, and let's put our decimal into our answer that we have down here. 1, 2, drop that decimal in there. Cool, so the sales tax is going to be 90 cents. Now we take that 96, we add it to $15. That's pretty easy, right, Mariah? 0 plus 0? Yup. 9 plus 0? We got to bring that decimal straight down, right? Because we're just adding. We're not doing any multiplying or dividing or any craziness. We're just adding. Now we drop down the 5 and our 1. So altogether, our total price is $15.90. Awesome. Now, in between example 3 and 4, the book talks about a discount. A discount is a certain amount you get to take off of the basic price. Now, super easy, if it's a number like 100 and you're getting a 20% off discount, that means you get 20 bucks off the price. You only have to pay 80 for that. If it's 30% off, then you get $30 off. But that's like for 100. Now, if it's any other number, then we got to do a little bit more work to figure it out. Let's check out example number 4. We got a whole list of items. We'll go over a couple of those items later. But the main item we're looking at is a jacket. It's $50, but it's on discount right now. It's sale time. They're going to give us 20% off. Like, you see this kind of discount going on like right now because no one wants to buy jackets when it's 100 outside. So the company's like trying to get them off the shelves, you know, like, hey, someone come buy these jackets. It's going to get hot, you know, so they push them out, give them a discount so people buy them, put them in their closets, wear them next winter. All right. So now's the best time to pick up some jackets, y'all. I guess once this, like, our country gets opened up again, you can go buy stuff. Hey. All right. Hey, shop online. Maybe you can still get it there too. All right. So jacket's 50 bucks, 20% off. Now here's the equation to find the discount. We got to go 20% times the jacket. Cool. Here's 50 bucks. There's our jacket, and we're going to multiply times our 20%. Now let's change that 20% into a decimal. How many times am I going to move that decimal point over? Matthew, you paying attention in my class? Matthew H, huh? How many times? Bingo, 2. So we start here, we go over 1, we go 2, we drop that decimal in there. Now, remember we had that lesson on simplifying. So let's simplify. We don't need that 0 on there. Let's just go 0.2. 0.2. All right, Matthew, help me out. What's 2 times 0? Yup. What's 2 times 5? Bingo. All right, we got 1 decimal place over, right? So let's scoot over 1 spot. Pew. Drop our dollar sign on there. Now we can add that 0 back in there because, you know, have our $10. Or we can simplify, get rid of all these guys, just have our 10, right? Just like that. Cool, so there's our discount, but we got to figure out what the final price will be. So we got our $50 jacket. We know we're getting a $10 discount. So Matthew, how much is that jacket going to cost, bro? Absolutely. It's going to be $40 after our discount. Nice. You just saved like a good 10 bucks. Now you can go in and out, you know, get a number 1 with a milkshake and you're set. I miss In and Out, not going to lie. I haven't been there since this whole coronavirus thing started. For my class who know me, that's a sacrifice because, like, I would go every week, like once a week, at least once a week. So yeah, I'm missing my In and Out. All right, sweet. We're gonna do some more here. Let's see. I think we got some lesson practice to go over, and I'm gonna get those put up here for us. All right, here we go. So in this top section here, the lesson practice, they want us to take these percentages and turn them into decimal numbers. All right, so 9% is going to become what decimal number? Brayden, help me out. right? We're gonna start here, we're gonna go 1, 2, drop our decimal in there, put a 0, right? So now we're multiplying 200 times 0.09. Okay, so Braden, go for it. 9 times 0, 0. 9 times 0, 0. 9 times 2, 18. Awesome. And we're over there 2 places, right, Braden? So where am I going to put that decimal? Absolutely. We're going to come over 1, 2, drop that decimal in there, and our answer is 18. See how easy that was? Sweet. We're going to do the same thing right here, except this time Cadence is going to help me out. Cadence, 4%. We're going to move that decimal over 2 places, right, Cadence? We'll just use that decimal right there. Now, what do I got to drop in there, Cadence? What goes between the decimal and the 4? Absolutely, we've got to put a 0 in there. Cool, so now we're just multiplying times 0.4. Or 0.04, sorry, I said that wrong. All right, Cadence, let's 4 times 5. Yeah, 0, there's our 20. And then what's 4 times 2? 8 plus 2, 10, I like it. Awesome, and we had 2 decimal places over, right? 1, 2. Awesome. So we got to put those 2 decimal places in our answer. 1, 2. Drop it in there. There is our answer. 1. So 4% of 25 is only 1. Cool. Now on the next section, they want us to turn these into fractions to solve it. So 80%, let's make it a fraction. So it's got 80 over 100, right? Now 80 over 100, I can reduce that by how much? Let's see. Christian, what can I reduce 80 over 100 by? Let's see, we could divide both those by 10, right? Could we go bigger? Yeah, we could go to 20, right? What's 80 divided by 20? Yup, exactly, it's gonna be 4. And then what's 100 divided by 20? Absolutely, it's gonna be 5 now. So we got 4/5 of 50. So let's divide here. 5 goes into 50 how many times? Absolutely. That'd be 10, right? And then we got to multiply that times our numerator, which was a 4. Absolutely. What's 4 times 10? Bingo. So 80% of 50 is 40. Cool. All right, let's jump over here to F. Now, 75%, I know I could make it a fraction like this, put 100 under there. Now, I know I can reduce that one by, Avery, help me out. 75 over 100, how small could I make that fraction? Because I think we can divide by a pretty big number, right? Like 20 something, 20, what was it? 25. We could reduce both these by 25. Now, Avery, how many times does 25 go into 75? Now, if you have quarters, how many quarters would you have when it comes to 75 cents? Exactly, it goes in there 3 times. And then $1 would be how many times? Absolutely, 4 times. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky because we got kind of a bigger number here. So we're going to divide 4 into 120. Now 4 doesn't go into 1, does it, Avery? Nuh-uh. But 4 goes into 12. How many times does it go into 12? Yep. And then how many times does 4 go into 0? 0. Awesome. So we got $30 up there now, but we can't forget our step once we get to the top. I've got to multiply that 30 times that 3. So what's 3 times 30? Bingo. 90. And we put a little $sign on there, and we are good to go. Awesome. Good job, Avery. Now, checking out G, which is on the top of the next page. I think it's page 763. Check out G with me, you guys. It's looking back at example number 4 where we had a belt that was $10 and the discount was 15%. So I've already turned that 15% into a decimal, 0.15. Now we're going to multiply 0.15 times $10. So 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 5 is, nice. Here, help me finish this one out. Max, help me out here. So then we got to put our space holder, nice. And then 1 times 0, Max, 0. 1 times 1, Now let's add these up. Nice. 0 and 5 and 1. Now, how many decimal spaces did we have here, Max? We had 2. So that means I got to add 2 into my problem, right? Cool. So this is our discount right here. That would be part of your answer. There's a discount. Now we need to figure out what our final price would be by subtracting our discount from the original price of that $10 belt. Awesome. Can I take 1 away from 0? Nuh-uh. So we got to make it a 10, right? But I guess let's start at the right. Let's start at the right. 0, I can go 0 minus 0, right? Easy peasy. And then here's where I need to borrow again to make a 10 there so I can subtract the 5 from that 0 that was there. Now, 10 minus 5, what's that equal, Max? Bingo, 15. And we bring our decimal straight down. And then what's 9 minus 1? Don't forget that dollar sign. $8.50 is how much that belt's going to cost. All right. Hope we're getting this. We're going to go over some of the math problems for tonight's homework. So go ahead and grab out your math worksheets so you can get some of these copied down. Make sure you're copying down the work as I'm doing the work up here on the board with and for you guys. All right, cool. All right, you should have those math sheets ready because we're going to jump to it. Here we go. I'm going to help you guys out with number 1 because number 1 was the tough one. That was where we had that algebraic addition. So remember, we only have to change the minus signs that are part of the problem, not the -5. That -5 to start, totally cool. So we're just going to drop him straight down. So he gets to stay a -5 out there in the front. Now this minus sign here, that's one of those ones we got to change. So as we drop down here, it becomes a plus sign. Now that's going to change that 6 because that 6 was a +6, but now it's going to become a, let's see, help me out, Grayson J in my class. So that +6 is going to have to flip to its opposite, which is what, bro? Absolutely, -6. Now, we already have the plus sign, so that whole part just gets to come straight down. It stays the same. We don't even have to touch it. It just comes straight down. Now, Grayson, we got another minus sign here. What I need to do to that minus sign as we come down? Yep, we got to change it to a plus sign. How's it going to change that +8 hiding in those parentheses? Yep, exactly. It's going to become a -8. Now, we got a plus sign. Cool. We just get to bring that straight down. It's that easy. Now we got a bunch of negative numbers here, so as we keep adding, it's just going to get more and more negative, right? Let's do it. What's -5 plus -6, Grayson? Awesome, -11. So we got -11 plus -7, so add 7 to 11, exactly -18, awesome. Now we got -18, here I'll put it right here. So we got -11, which becomes -18, and then -18 plus -8 is going to be -20, bingo, -26. All right, now we have a positive number, so that means we're going to jump back towards the 0 a little bit. So our number is going to become, we're going to be going this way on the number line, right? So it's going to be a negative because my negative number is bigger. So that means my answer is going to stay negative here. But if I add a +4 to that -26, it's going to go to where, Grayson? -22. Nice, very nice. Okay, cool. Let's check out problem 6. So problem 6 is asking us about 15 boys in the classroom. Out of 25 students total, 15 are boys. We got to find what percentage that would be. Now remember, a percentage is a number over 100, right? So I'm going to go ahead and set this one up over here as over 100. Now 25 times what gives me 100? Help me out there, Allie. Allie, 25 times what is 100? Nice, 4. So I multiplied by 4 on the bottom, that means I got to do it on the top. What is 15 times 4, Allie? Help me out. 4 times 5, okay, carry the 2, 4 times 1, plus the 2. Nice, exactly, it's going to be 60. So 60 over 100 is what percent, Allie? Nice, 60%. Now, I'm just going to give you a little tip right here. So boys, we know there's 15 boys. Now, how am I going to solve for how many girls there are? Okay, so if I know there's 25 students in the class and 15 of them are boys, so obviously you got to subtract those two to figure out how many girls there are, and that will give you your number right here. And then I even drew it up here for you. You guys got to reduce, and notice the ratio is boys over girls, so that's why you have to put the boys on the top there. Now, let's check out number 10. I just want to give you a quick tip. I'm not going to work it out. Just want to show you so you don't make a common mistake. That 45 squared is not 45 times 2. Notice I crossed it off. Don't do that. It means 45 times 45. So yeah, you got some double-digit multiplication. You'll have to show your work on that problem. All right, cool. Let's jump over to 12. Now remember, when we're dividing fractions, that first fraction just comes straight down, right? 1 over 2. And then let's see, Gracie D, help me out here. How is the division sign going to change as we come down? Is it going to stay a division sign? Nuh-uh. It's going to become multiplication. And then notice I already drew my little flipsy-do. How does 2/3 change? Absolutely. We got to put that 3 on the top, right? And then the 2 goes on the bottom. Now, Gracie, all you got to do is multiply. What's 1 times 3? It was 2 times 2. 3 over 4. See, that's not bad. Okay, let me see who is ready for this one. Melissa. Melissa, help me out on this crazy one. This is number 16. It's a triangle. They want the area of the triangle. So remember, area of a triangle is base times its height, how tall it is. But then remember, we have to divide that by 2. All right, so we got 11.04 centimeters. We got 4.25 centimeters. We got some triple digit multiplication to do here, so help me out. What's 5 times 4? Bingo, 20. We carry that 2. That 2 just comes straight down here because 5 times 0 is 0, but plus 2, that's where our 2 came from. And then 5 times 1 and 5 times 1, so that gives us that 55, right, Melissa? Now, I'm multiplying by this 2 now. What do I need to put in my partial product down here? Nice, got to put that space holder. Okay, so, Melissa, what's 2 times 4? Yep. 2 times 0? What's 2 times 1? And 2 times 1 again? All right, cool. Now we're over here in the hundreds place. Now, how many zeros are in 100? 2. So that's why we got to put 2 space holders on here. We got to put one there, one there. Now, what's 4 times 4? 16. I like it. We put the 1. 4 times 0 is 0 plus 1. Nice. What's 4 times 1? And 4 times 1 again? Sweet. Let's add this thing up. So zeros is 0. 8 plus 2, nice, is 10. We carry the 1. So we got 6 plus 5 is 11, plus 1 is 12. Carry another 1. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's our 9. And then we got 4 plus 2 is 6. And then we got a 4. Now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 decimal places we need to add into this problem real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. There it goes. Now, we got 46.92, but we need to do the last step to find the area. What's the last step, Melissa? Yup, we got to divide by 2. So we divide by 2. 2 goes into 4 2 times. Nice, I like it. There's our 4. There's 0. We drop the 6. 2 goes into 6 how many times? Yup. 3 times. There's 6. There, we drop our 9. 2 goes into 9. Awesome, 4 times. If we can bring our decimal straight up here. Woo, there she is. All right, so 2 times 4 is 2 times 4 is 8. That leaves 1 left over, so that gives us 12. Now, 2 goes into 12 how many times? Awesome, 6 times. So that's 12 minus 12, 0. Now, remember, we were talking about area. We were talking about centimeters. How many times do we see centimeters here in this problem? So it's going to be centimeters squared with a little 2. Nice work, man. That one was brutal. All right, but we got it, so that's good. All right, number 23. Let me see. Number 23. Look at my book over here. Oh, yeah, number 23 is that rectangular solid. Looks like a shoebox stood up, kind of. Now, we have to draw what the front would look like. If you look at that shape, what's the front look like? Yeah, it's just a rectangle, right? It's a tall rectangle. So that's what the front should look like. Now, if you look at the side looks exactly like the front does. So you should have the same exact size shape for the side. And then what would it look like from the top? Exactly, it's a perfect square. Awesome. Check out number 24, you guys. On number 24, we got to find the volume. So the volume is just your length times your width times your height. And then don't forget, when you're labeling those, you have to go based on, let me see what the problem's talking about. Oh, it's talking about feet. So we got to make sure that we put cubed, because it's feet times feet times feet. If you got 3 feet, you got a problem, number 1. No, if you got 3 feet, then that means that's what your exponent needs to be. All right, cool. All right, I'm going to clean this up. If you need to write some of these down, go ahead and pause the video right quick, copy all of the stuff down that you need from here, and then we'll do about 1 or 2 more problems with you. All right, here's the last few problems for lesson 102's homework. So number 25 wants you to figure out what 2 feet out of a yard would be. So I went ahead and gave you that fraction. So 2 out of 3 feet, right? There's 3 feet in a yard. So there's 2 ways we could do it. We could divide 3 into 100 and then multiply that number times 2. Or this way, which I think is kind of easier. So instead, we're going to turn 100 into a fraction. So 100 over 1. And then we just multiply straight across. So we got 200 over 3. Now, you're going to have to divide that. 3 goes into 200 a certain amount of times. I know it because I have it memorized. But that's one of those fractions you guys should have memorized. 1/3 and 2/3 and what they equal, because you'll see those for the rest of your life. Cool, check out number 28. I'm going to do A for you guys. Now, all they want us to do is take the percentage, turn it into a decimal, and then we can work it out. Now, 6% is going to equal what decimal number? Let's see, who haven't I called on yet? Ryan. Ryan, help me out. So if I take 6% and I turn it into a decimal, we're going to move this way, right? How many times? 1 or 2? 2 times. There we go. We drop that decimal in there. We put a 0 in that empty spot, right? Now we can multiply times 0.6 to find out what 6% of 400 would be. Now, 6 times 0? Yep. 6 times 0 again? Yep. What's 6 times 4? There you go. 24. Now, how many spaces over were we here, Ryan? Exactly, we were over 2 spaces. So I start here, I go 1, and I go 2, I drop in that decimal, and we are good to go. All right, we good to that? Everything look good? All good? Mm-hmm. Sweet. There you go. That's it. That one's done. Cool. Let's check out number 29. 29, they want us to turn this into a fraction. So 20% equals, let's see, where was I at? Ava, help me out. So we got 20%. How do we turn that into a fraction? Absolutely. We got to put it over 100, right? Now, Ava, can I reduce this fraction to make it a little smaller? Absolutely, right? 20 goes into both these numbers. So I divide 20 by 20, it gives me what? 1. Nice, I like it. And then 20 goes into 100 how many times? Absolutely, goes in there 5 times. Now, once again, we could do it like this, where we divide that 5 into that 90, and then multiply times that top numerator. Or we could also just turn it into a fraction like this, go 1/5 times 90 over 1. Either way, it's going to be the same answer. So let's just divide it like this and then multiply times that 1. So we got $90 divided by 5. So 5 goes into 9 how many times, Ava? Absolutely, it goes in one time. There's 5. What's 9 minus 5? Yep. And then we drop our 0 down, and then 5 goes into 40 how many times? There we go, 8. Now, 18 times 1 is 18, right? So we're done. That's the answer for 29A. And you guys can go ahead and finish up the rest of the problems that we didn't do together. I'm going to go ahead and shoot lesson 101 up here. So don't stop the video yet. Check that out. You might have to hit pause because it's only going to be up there for a few seconds. So hit pause, check the answers, make sure you get them all right. Mark the ones wrong that you didn't get right, because that's how it works, y'all. Get a red pen, red marker, color pencil, highlighter, whatever you want to mark it right or wrong with. Grab that out and do so. All right. Check y'all a little later.